Welcome to Hobby Clubhouse with a review of the Bandai High Grade 1100 G Falcon unit with Gundam X. This is a second part video which will cover the G Falcon unit itself, and there's another video about the Gundam X, so make sure to check that out if you haven't watched that yet. Now these were the last of the 1100 high grade kits before the line went dormant until it was relaunched in 1999 as the HGUC line we know today. This bundle was released back in November 1996 for a price of 3,000 yen. It comes in a big and satisfying box measuring 31 by 39 and just a little over 9 centimeters. There's no credit given on the box for the box art illustrator, so it's not clear who drew this, but this artist did draw all the boxes for the entire Gundam X model line way back then, whoever he or she may be. The side of the box has the expected studio shots and info on the MS itself, and then some info on the model kit. The other side tells us that the Airmaster Burst and the Leopard Destroyed are planned for release and they'll both work for the G Falcon, so you're gonna get more mileage out of this kit. Inside the box, we get the G Falcon spread across just 4 runners with some really large pieces. And it has the same poly caps as the X, which I forgot to include in the shot right here. It also has the really big sheet of foil stickers, with this black one here for the cockpit canopy, this red sticker for the nozzle, these 2 golden stickers that wrap around the vent near the top, then 4 other golden ones for the details on the air intakes here on the side of the beam cannons. Then there are 2 white ones for the top of the unit, and then these white ones to color the entire fin, and 1 big one for the fin in the very middle. And after a bit over an hour, here's the G Falcon Support Fighter, which admittedly looks a little undercooked compared to the very well done X. We get 2 tones of blue, which is nice, but it's mostly large swaths of single colors, and even the thruster bells on the back are just red. It's not that it didn't try at all, with the inside of the air takes here on the cannons making use of the blue plastic to give us some change in colors. What's a bit odd are things like panel line details. Now kits from this era often have a lot of panel lines to give a more high definition look at details that aren't represented in the animation, and the G Falcon is no different. However, while some parts like the top of the fighter and the sides of the cannons are all really well decorated, the sides here are just large flat surfaces that are boxy and they just don't hold any visual information at all. Some of the other details can be a little simplistic as well, like these mock hydraulics on the insides which look a little childish and they're not really thought out that well. As are these pegs that look like they were made with PVC piping. So you really don't have to look very hard before the G Falcon breaks its illusion and comes off looking like a toy. And I suspect that's really what it was meant to be. A thing that gives you stuff to do with your Gundam models, like combining and such, with execs going, kids love that stuff, right? Robots joining together, go do that. It doesn't feel like the designer's heart was into this product much. But before we move on and see the actual combining, there are 2 doors here that swing open at the front, revealing some missiles in the back, which is a nice extra play feature. Okay, now we're gonna see how this combines together with the X. First, you have to pull off the cockpit part, which they call the A part. It's attached with a single peg and suspended on this ugly bracket here, which you then flip upwards. And then the entire nose cone folds down. The wings on the 2 sides are then tucked inwards. So going back to the B part, you swing out this long arm with a peg at the end of it, and then you also swing up this exhaust port with an ugly peg sticking right out the bottom. The 2 long blue legs at the back need to come down as well. On the X, you'll need to pull off this back panel on the backpack, and then this other one on the back skirt, which gives us 2 holes in total. The 2 cannons need to be swung into the forward positions, and the 2 wings should be horizontal. The pegs fit right into the 2 holes, and that really is the only connection the G Falcon has to the X. It's just sturdy enough to keep the X attached when handled, but it really is far from solid. But to finish this off, the A part tucks into the front and this cutaway section wedges into the shoulder joint. So here's the completed G Falcon Unit XX. I really can't say this would get me excited as expansion to the XX. The blue and the red clashes with the muted colors of the Gundam, and the thing is quite literally bolted onto the back. And the lack of accurate color details on the G Falcon hurts the beautifully color separated XX, and you really won't feel that this adds a lot of value to your Gundam. And this bulky kit is also really hard to hold. Now you can't just hold onto the XX because the back part weighs enough to tear itself right off. And the backside can't be gripped because the bottom are actually two trapdoors. Now you can clamp onto the top part here like this like a hamburger, but it's really awkward to hold. Now the best way I've found to hold is by grabbing the long red arm in the middle here, but really that is to say, if a kid bought this back in 1996, I really have no idea how he or she would play with this. I mean, it would end up being tossed right back into the box, and then only the XX would ever be played with. And this is a good opportunity to talk about the big supporting legs on the back right here. They're like the XX's cannons and they connect with a single polycap. And the tolerances way back then are just not enough to carry the entire weight of the G Falcon, so the legs can't stay in this downward position. The instructions tell you to twist them outwards a little bit to wedge them onto the side, which seems like something they put in after realizing this was a problem, and no, it actually doesn't work. But you know what? They can't stay up either. When you put them at the highest angle up, they sag down a little bit, so the weak polycap joints just leave these legs very deficient. Now all of this is really just because Bandai had different standards way back then at the time, and it's not that this kit is especially badly done, but close to a quarter of a century later, if you want to buy this, a lot of this kit may not be good enough in many places for you. Next, let's look at how the XX can be stowed into the G Falcon for transport. The cannons on the XX should point upwards, and the wing should be brought all the way down. This peg here continues to go onto the back, but at a downward angle this time. The two arms at the back attach onto the back of the legs that already have holes for this very purpose. The two trapdoors on the bottom can be tucked back in, and then the arms of the XX just sort of rest on the side. Lastly, the A part wedges into the front using the same mechanism, and there we have it. The G Falcon carrying the XX. And I'm not sure if this does much to save the G Falcon. It's something, I guess. I don't know what that something is, but it's a thing. And like I said before, this looks like something some executive thought up and thought that kids would like. It feels very cynical, and it's like they just thought kids would buy anything. And they're not entirely wrong, because some would buy this, but at the same time, those kids would absolutely be disappointed and never play with this function. I mean, just look at it. It can't seem to decide what shape it wants to be. The cockpit hangs really low, but there's a big turtle shell on its back. The missile bay doors don't work anymore. I mean, yeah, I guess I'll stop here and not pick on it anymore. It's really had enough.
Stop! He's already dead!
But something a little more positive, the G Falcon does work with the Airmaster Burst and the Leopard Destroy. Now unfortunately, I don't have either of these kits, so I'm not able to show how it is right here, but if I ever do get them in the future, I'll definitely show you guys in a future video. But furthermore, the G Falcon is actually compatible with the Master Grade Gundam XX from 2015. Now, I don't have that kit either, but I know it does have the two holes needed to attach the G Falcon unit. But with all that said, here's the Hobby Clubhouse 3-point verdict on the High Grade G Falcon unit. Number 1, it's incomplete out of the box. While the XX comes out of the gate with flying colors, the G Falcon is really the opposite because they're bundled together and you can really see what Bandai could have given you when they cared versus when they really didn't. It's a cynically made toy more than it is a quality model kit. Number 2, it does gain legitimacy with its seniority. With all the years that has passed since 1996, the G Falcon has gotten its place in the canon of the Gundam universe, and we see its image long before we see this kit. So, more and more fans know about the character of it and the idea of it first, and then they might want to own this kit out of curiosity. Now, I suppose in that way, it is an interesting purchase, and it's still the only way to own a G Falcon other than the impossible to find 1144 one. Now, they're not going to make a master grade of this, and they really don't need to because... Point number 3. It's compatible with the master grade kit. If there's any truly legitimate reason to buy this today, it is that it works with the master grade Gundam XX. With this, you can upgrade your Gundam XX to something not everyone has, and many builders will want to upgrade the G Falcon to match the quality of the master grade kit, so that's a great project as well. And I suspect this is why this kit is actually quite sought after whenever it's reprinted. So that's a review of the HG G Falcon unit. It wasn't a good product in its time, and it really hasn't gotten any better in the 2 decades after it's come out. But new interest for the kit has sprung up, and maybe you're among those people who now want to pick one of these up. Thank you so much for watching. Do come look us up on social media with updates on upcoming videos and sneak peeks at future projects. Or hang out here some more and watch the HG Gundam XX review as well. But before you go, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be notified of new videos from Hobby Clubhouse, and I'll see you next time.